They don't send people out for sensitive placements.
Good afternoon, Madam. Are we ready to go? We are. If everybody could take their seats, please. And who's ever here can probably close those doors because it looks like there's a big to-do on the other side. So we're going to start our public hearing. Let's see if anybody has any comments. Representative Walker. I know I saw her.
Her head was there.
Yeah,
If-
I'm here. Sorry. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you all, and thank you. And I'll get my camera fixed in a minute. Thank you.
Very good. Representative Nuccio.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just happy to be here in the midst of the summer break.
Senator Summers. I saw her walking around. I know she'll be making her way here. Housing, Commerce, Senator Hartley.
I expect to hear.
Are you the House Chair?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Would you have any comments, sir?
Looking forward to the hearing, and no other comments from me, and my Senate Chair should be here shortly. I spoke with her. She was in transit. I expected her before me, so I don't know if she got caught up.
And your ranking members, sir?
And we do not have, I do
Well,
not
who
see my
are
ranking.
they?
Chris Anaskevich and Senator Martin.
Representative Anaskevich, are you on?
I am.
Senator
Do you have any comments, sir?
No, thank you. Nope, all good.
And our the Senate ranking?
Senator Martin.
Senator Martin, do you have any comments?
I do not. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Housing, Senator Marks?
I'm good. Thank you.
Representative Felipe? I don't see, and who are you ranking? Senator Sampson, and are you here? And Representative Scott? I know I saw Senator Sampson talking with Senator Summers, so I know they're here. All right, that's where we are. No comments. We're going to have a review of the block grant allocation. Mr. Santoro, I hear it's yours. And who do you have with you, sir?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, co-chairs, ranking members, members of the Appropriations, Commerce and Housing Committees. For those who don't know me, I'm Mike Santoro. I'm the Director of Policy, Research, and Housing Support at the Department of Housing. I'm here on behalf of Commissioner Salem Mascaro-Bruno, who unfortunately was unable to make today. She'd like me to thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today to discuss federal fiscal year 2025 allocation of grant funding for the CDBG Community Development Block Grant Small Cities program. Here with me is my colleague, Miguel Rivera, the Director of Housing and Community Development, and he's primarily responsible for the administration of the CDBG Small Cities program. This allocation plan outlines the strategies and objectives that the state will use to meet the goals of the CDBG program. This allocation plan was developed in accordance with federal regulations and is consistent with the Connecticut's proposed 2025-2029 Consolidated Plan for Housing and Community Development. Federal eligibility for this program is limited to non-entitlement cities or towns. Basically, those are cities and towns with a population of less than 50,000. CDBG Small Cities Funding allocation for the period that began July 1 of 2025, it runs through June 30 of 2026, is $13,960,891, which is a very small increase over last year's allocation. The grant amount is determined by HUD by formula. It's based on a detailed formula that is based on the total funding available nationally and incorporates the federal government's estimation of community needs. In consultation with our eligible municipal partners, DOH intends to focus the 25 small cities CDBG funding on the preservation of existing affordable housing in our small cities and towns, as well as the installation of new public infrastructure intended to support new affordable housing activity. DOH continues to look for ways to improve the CDBG program. We seek input from our constituent communities and our national partners relative to best practices and seek to reflect that feedback and insights into our program guidelines. DOH also distributes bulletins directly to our grantees and program consultants in response to any new requirements by HUD or with regard to any programmatic changes that DOH is intending to implement to improve program performance. CDBG staff conduct periodic workshops with our grantees and consultants on various subjects that directly affect the program. Subject to the result of today's hearing, we will submit our full action plan, including this allocation plan, for HUD's review and approval. Once we receive final approval from HUD, we expect contracts with HUD to follow quickly thereafter and anticipate making awards to our communities within 30 days of that HUD contract. We are hopeful this will enable communities to execute their contracts for these funds late summer, early fall, and access the funding immediately thereafter. In closing, the CDBG program continues to be an effective and community development tool in Connecticut's non-entitlement communities. DOH's administration of the CDBG program continues to be highly successful, and we look forward to continuing its efficacy while seeking to improve upon our success. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions or comments for Mr. Santoro? Representative Nolan. Oh. Representative Nuccio.
Sorry for, sorry. Yes, I know I've asked this question before, but I like to ask this at every time that we're here. The carry forward amount that you have here, can you explain why it is what it is and what it's used for? And in relation to the grant dollars here, please.
Certainly. Carry forward dollars come in two categories: programmatic carry forward and administrative carry forward. Programmatic carry forward are contracts or dollars that have not yet been awarded or have been returned through what is called program income. Program income is generated as a result of programs that set up actual loans that get repaid. Those dollars recycle first back to the communities that received the original award. If they then fail to reuse those dollars, we will move to recapture them after a certain period of time. They get ample opportunity to find alternative ways to spend it. Eventually, however, we do need to recapture those so that it does not reflect negatively on the overall program. Administrative carryover is literally that. We have administrative funds which have accumulated over time that we have not spent. And that carryover, again, is available to us to continue to fund and operate the program.
In regard to the administrative, I know a certain percentage of the federal allocation can stay with the state for administration. If we're carrying funds over, is there any thought to reducing the percentage that we're using for administration to put it back into programmatic?
We only get 2% as it is, and we spend significantly more than that on an annual basis. We actually, our administrative allocation is actually $100,000 plus 2% of the annual award. So if you look at the actual published report, if you go to table B, those numbers are clear. We get about $317,000 in new grant money for admin through the CDBG grant. We anticipate to spend this year about 877,000. So we're eating away at that carryover over time. In terms of reducing the percentage, only getting $317,000, you're not going to get even a portion of another grant by further reducing that limited administrative allocation.
Perfect. Thank you for the answers.
Thank you.
Representative Nolan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon. I'm just, you talked about two different areas that you're pushing the funding towards, it seemed like existing housing stock and renovations and new projects maybe. Could you explain how you will determine how much goes to either?
Thank you, Rep. Nolan, through you, Madam Chair. This is a competitive program. That is, we actually publish a detailed application with specific rating and ranking criteria. So those decisions are made strictly through that competitive process. As it happens, this particular year, we only received 5 applications. Even at the highest estimate, they're worth about $11 million in change, and we have about 13 million available from this year's allocation alone. Assuming those projects get all their ducks in a row, submit all the necessary paperwork, do all the necessary environmental review, those projects will all get funded. But in terms of either in the past or possibly in the future, the decisions are strictly competitively based. Our rating and ranking criteria are published on an annual basis, and we seek comment to make adjustments to those rating and ranking criteria to make sure that we aren't leaving anybody behind. In terms of the focus for this particular year, we are focusing again on public housing, what we call public housing preservation or existing affordable housing preservation. It's not limited to public housing, but that is the primary focus, as well as we've seen an increasing ask for infrastructure in our smaller communities to allow them to build new affordable housing. I want to be clear, CDBG funding cannot be used for new housing construction. So that's a violation of the federal regulation, but it can be used to support new construction. So part of what we wanted to do with CDBG in particular for our small towns is to put some of those resources available to our smaller towns to make those infrastructure improvements to help them create new affordable housing opportunities.
Okay, and you said two things that lead me to just ask about those things that you said.
Anthony, can you use your outside voice, please?
My outside voice.
Well, your police officer voice then, if that.
All right.
Right.
I sure will try, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
All right. So actually are any of are there plans to support ADA compliance with some of the areas that are going to be looked at? And also you talked about only 5. That seems very low. So I'm just wondering if you know why it's only 5 and what kind of marketing are we doing to make sure that it gets out there enough, because only 5 is very little.
Happy to talk about Representative Nolan again through you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the question. Yes, the public housing modernization that we carry out is required to produce ADA modifications, and all of our projects must meet what is called Section 504, which is the federal requirements around ADA. So a large amount of the funds that flow through our public housing modernization activities or our affordable housing preservation activities go to ADA improvements. The second half of your question, I lost. I'm sorry.
It was in regards to, oh God, I just forgot it too.
Why only 5 people?
Oh,
yeah.
why only 5
Of the
applications?
project.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Senator Marks. I appreciate the reminder. We do a great deal of interaction with our municipalities. We do direct outreach to all, I want to say it's about 138 eligible municipalities. It may actually be larger than that. 129, excuse me. Thank you, Miguel. We do direct outreach to all of them. I think we've seen the numbers come down in terms of applications because we have stressed with the municipalities, we want their applications ready to fund. So they're working behind the scenes, if you will, to get their projects ready. So that when they apply, as I indicated in my testimony, after we get our federal contract and we award, we want them to be under construction very shortly thereafter.
So you're talking about shovel ready.
I don't like to use that term. I like to say ready to proceed or ready to start construction. Yes, sir.
You've already gone past it by 3,
come back
but
to me?
I can come back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll wait my turn again.
Representative Walker.
Okay.
You are muted. Oops.
Yeah,
There you
sorry, it's hard. I've only got one hand, so and it's not the right hand. But anyhow, yes, I kind of want to continue with what Representative Nolan was talking about. You said that you only had 5 projects, and that's because they have to be project ready, and and it's a large task. Understanding that these are small towns that we are working with, the small towns don't have the staffing that the big cities have in order to prepare these types of grants. So what type of support does your agency provide them? Can they call you and say, okay, we have an idea about a project that we want to do, but we need help in preparing the documentation and the actual application. Can you help us? Do you provide that?
Thank you for the question. The short answer is yes, we provide direct technical assistance to our potential grantee towns. We also have a list of certified consultants that we refer them to on a regular basis, and those consultants will generally work with them to prepare their application and get paid after they are awarded. In addition, we get about 1%. About 1% per year of our total allocation can be used for technical assistance to our grantees, and we do regular workshops to help them do that. We can't obviously help them fill out the application because it is a competitive process, but we do provide a great deal of training, opportunity, and again, access to consultants to help them get those applications put in place.
I just want to point out that these grants are not big and consultants are expensive. And what you're doing is you're minimizing or reducing the amount of money that actually is going into the housing for all the upfront costs. So that part I don't think is a great idea. But I also think that we have to be a lot more supportive of our towns, especially our small towns, so that they can have access to the funds as much as everybody else. So thank you for that. But I hope we can come up with a better way of supporting our. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Representative Meskers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm assuming that we're using the 10-year census in terms of the 50,000 over or under?
Thank you, Representative Meskers. That's a ballpark description, if you will. HUD has determined who the eligible non-entitlements are, and by identifying actually who the entitlements are. As Miguel corrected me, it's 129 of our small, and they're not all small, towns and cities are eligible for CDBG small cities. The remainder all get direct allocations from HUD. They are entitlements. They get CDBG directly. So we didn't make the determination. I'm not sure that HUD actually uses the census data to determine who is eligible or not, but that is comes directly from HUD.
Okay, and this allocation versus the direct allocation, the second question, from your commentary, I'm led to understand that there are, I'll describe it as a revolving loan.
Can
That
be.
some of the programs, I've never seen that either at the larger cities for direct or not. Could you give a kind of a marginal description without boring the entire group about the revolving loan process? Because it's kind of interesting. If we're looking at it as lending for infrastructure, it might be the tipping point on housing. And if we can use it as a revolving, is there a percentage of the total allocation that can be used as a revolving loan?
Thank you, Representative Meskers. Again, the revolving loan portion is generally targeted to homeowner rehab, where we will provide a grant, a block of money to a municipality who then does smaller individual loans to homeowners for individual home repair. Infrastructure, those are grants to the municipality to pay for that infrastructure, whether that is owned by the municipality after the infrastructure is done, or whether the municipality passes it through to a not-for-profit to create the infrastructure needed for that development. I wouldn't want to see those funds go out as a loan to a not-for-profit for infrastructure-related activities. That's generally a one-time expenditure. But the revolving loan portion, certainly on homeowner rehab, and we've seen many of those over the years, especially in our mid-sized communities. They'll get a block of $400,000 or $500,000, and then they'll do individual homeowner loans in the $30,000 to $50,000 range. When those get repaid, they get to continue to invest those funds in their community.
Yeah, my only comment or observation is a capital expenditure for a nonprofit for infrastructure, to my mind, is a 10, 20, or 30-year sustainable, whether it's sewer line hookups, et cetera. And I would take the opposite view and just, I want to, again, not go too far, but the idea is why we wouldn't use that as a structured revolving loan where the payments we could use it for more, a broader or ongoing effort in capital allocation. Because it sounds to me like we're granting where we might have an opportunity for further leverage or further activity. Just your thoughts.
Thank you, Representative.
I think he asked a question. You asked a
Yes.
question there?
And your thoughts on why we wouldn't do that?
Oh, my apologies. Well, again, these are federal grant dollars. Barring current situation, we anticipate them to continue to flow. I'm not sure what the funding repayment source would be if we were to structure the infrastructure costs as a loan. I'd have to think about that. But
I get
appreciate
that the
question.
future in the future, because if you're doing capital as a grant,
Mhm.
there's not much leverage involved. It's an expenditure that has a 30 to 50 to 75-year lifespan. So if there's a way to be able to create revolving facilities, it might make a lot of sense for
Okay.
leverage.
Thank you, Representative.
Senator Hartley?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, and our best to the commissioner. So I guess I'm to assume that what we're looking at, the FY '25, is safe from any federal clawback?
Thank you, Senator Hartley, for the question. And the answer is yes. Those funds were part of the prior year budget. They've been authorized and allocated. HUD is literally waiting for our submission to get us the contract documents. So there is, at this point, no expectation or possibility for clawback unless the legislature were to pass a specific authorization to allow HUD to claw them back.
Okay, thank you. That's instructive. And so on our OFA analysis, Mike, on page 5, there's a list of projects underway. And, you know, I think everybody's really sensitive now to completion, finishing and the like. And we're looking at projects underway that go back to 2021, and a number of them, there's like 8 of them and then there's 2023, 2022. So there's quite a list of projects underway. So is that money been expended to those projects?
So those, thank you, Senator, again, those projects are under construction and approaching completion. Don't be misled by the federal fiscal year number. That's just where the money came from. That doesn't mean it was awarded in 21. It just means, so for example, in Sonia, there was a public housing modernization award of 1.7 million and change. It did not start under construction in federal fiscal 21. That means that October of 21 was when we, the state of Connecticut, were informed that we could get the money. We then applied for it in July of 22. In all likelihood, made the award and signed contracts in early 23. So that may have been under construction for a year, but not much more than that at this point. Similarly, a lot of the other projects, as I said, don't get confused by the federal fiscal year authorization date. That's simply the year that the money was made available through the federal budgeting process. We didn't actually get it until probably a year after that, and then anywhere from 6 months to 12 months after that before contract and construction start.
So, and I heard you say a bit earlier about your schedule of, reviewing, allocating, distributing. So this Appendix E, as we look at those dates, they should be about 18 months later.
In terms of when those projects were actually awarded and started construction?
Underway.
Yeah.
Does underway mean shovel in the ground?
Oh,
or
underway is under construction. That means literally there are people on the job in all of those communities working on these projects.
Okay, so is there any kind of communication review about the length of projects? I mean, they still seem protracted, I'll tell you that.
Thank you again, Senator Hartley. The answer is yes, we monitor our communities on a regular basis. And yes, we emphasize to them that we want these projects to move. This directly affects our performance under HUD's guidelines, and we have expenditure deadlines associated with these funds. So yes, I'll say it nicely. We let our communities know they need to spend these dollars and they need to spend them in a timely fashion. We work with them to try to help them to do that. We can provide, if you'd like, more detailed information on the dates associated with these projects, in particular in Appendix E, in terms of when contracts actually were signed, when they actually started construction, if that would be helpful.
Well, I guess you get my point. It's one, I'm asking about the clawback. Two, I'm asking about the program and its execution. So, that's the concern. And I think it's probably a heightened concern at this point. And then I'll just reference Representative Nolan's comments. So it seems like year over year, the number of project requests are going down. And that would be an indication of what?
Thank you again, Senator Hartley. We believe it's an indication that we're actually getting projects that are ready to actually get started. I've been at this a while. I want to say 10 years ago, we would get projects that were little more than an idea. And then we would have to work with those communities to get the project accelerated to meet our federal timelines. Because again, as I indicated, these dollars come with specific expenditure deadlines associated with when we get the money. We've actually moved our communities to the point where they are now applying when they're ready. So that's why, as I had talked about earlier in my testimony, we are hopeful that within a short period after us signing our federal contract, that we are actually contracting with our newest applicants so that we can actually get under construction in this calendar year. That's our goal.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
Thank
Senator.
you.
Thank you. So I've been listening to everybody's conversation around CDBG. First, I have to tell you, CDBG is one of the best programs that we have, one of the most well-run programs that we have that helps out communities. The entitlement communities are not all at 50,000 or greater. Both New London and Norwich are on this list. They are less than 50,000. I think that this list was developed by the federal government based on a number of criteria that are not necessarily just population driven, and certainly not population driven relative to a current census, because I've never seen anything added or come off of the list. So they've been on this list. So when Representative Meskers was talking about how that is set up, it is set up by the federal government under a number of criteria that have nothing to do with census. And I'm not exactly certain that I have down all of the different criteria. We could probably ask the Office of Legislative Research to look into that for us if Representative Meskers was interested in finding out. I do find that the program, the application process is comprehensive. It can be onerous for some communities, but I think it's necessary if we want to spend the money on what you intend to have it spent on. I think that it's important for us to get the right programs out there. And when I was first selectman in Sprague, applied every year for a different project. And I think that they're great. And some of them had to do with infrastructure. On today's application, I see that Ledyard has one for affordable housing infrastructure on Colby Drive. At the end of Colby Drive will be a 42 individual unit Habitat for Housing program, and they are working on the infrastructure to allow that project to be built out. So I'm actually very excited that they're moving it through this process. So I think that, again, I can't talk enough about what your agency does relative to this CDBG program. I'd like to see the entitlement communities not just use it for staffing of their respective units and use it for actually building things out. And that is not necessarily what's happening. Most of them use it to fund their staffing and how they handle that. So I do think that that's something that we may want to, or I would think that the federal government, under today's federal government or any other federal government, should be looking at, because the money should be going towards projects, in at least a great percentage of them. So I do have a couple of other people that have questions. Is there anybody else for the first time? Because I'll be going back on this. Is there anybody else? Senator Marks.
Hi, thank you. Just with this conversation, what happens, excuse me, if a project does get funding, let's say like for infrastructure, and then part of the project fails and things don't move forward? Because we all know with all sorts of housing projects, that's never easy. What happens in that situation?
Thank you, Senator Marks. And I don't know that we have infrastructure projects that fail. The infrastructure projects are literally managed by the town. It's installation of road, water, sewer line, underground utilities. It is possible that the project that was envisioned as a result of that infrastructure does not, in fact, get off the ground. In those cases, which is a good part of why the infrastructure are funded as grants, those utilities, that public infrastructure is going to be there, so that hopefully at some point in the future, we will get development at that site. Relative to those housing projects, if I can, I would say this: on the development side of our shop, which my partner Miguel manages as well, we would try to find, in conjunction with that community, a developer to actually bring, if not the original proposed project, a project forward. We would hate to see the infrastructure just sit there unused. So I can't think of a case where we've had infrastructure investment that has not ultimately and eventually been used. But it's certainly something we wouldn't just let fallow and ignore.
Thank you.
Anybody else for the first time? Seeing no one, Representative Nuccio?
Thank you. My only last question is, I just want to make sure I am reading this correctly and looking at it. The federal allocation is actually increasing by almost 7% year over year.
In terms of our allocation, or are you talking about
The federal allocation.
with the federal allocate, the entire federal budget?
Yes, it looks like your administrative is also increasing significantly.
Oh, okay, understood. So yeah, it was for the last few years, CDBG, our portion of the formula has grown slightly. Again, I think this year over last year, we're going to get about $80,000 more than we got in the prior year. It's not a big increase, and it is literally just a function of that detailed federal formula. I don't believe CDBG has grown much at the federal level, and therefore we wouldn't expect our portion to grow. It literally, I can only say that the formula the feds use to allocate not just the CDBG formula grants, but all the formula grants is beyond my ability to comprehend.
So I'm looking at the allocation of funds here, the table, and it's basically saying we're going from 13 million to almost 14 million in federal allocation, or a 6.7% growth. And then in the administrative authorization, we're going from 685 or 686,000 to 878,000, or a 28% growth. So it looks like the federal government is giving us more money to the tune of almost 7%. I want to make sure that's correct. And then secondly, the administrative is growing by 28%.
Oh, so I understand you're looking at the OFA table.
Yes.
May I look back at our plan? Bear with me for a second, because I believe that was an estimated number, but I want to make sure so that I can compare this year to last year.
It's estimated.
Yeah, but the actual prior year was higher. So that's why.
Oh, the prior, got it. So from 23, we had 13.9. Last year, we had just a little over 13. And this year, we have just a little under 14. My apologies. When we were looking at it, I was looking at 23 and our comparison between 23 and this year. So my apologies. Yes, we got a substantial increase over last year. Just about 900,000, a little under $900,000. I'll be frank, that's unusual. That is not the norm. Usually there's just a very small increase or decrease from year to year. Last year, due to, in part due to the amount of money that we got under CDBG COVID, I think the feds adjusted the formulas a little, so we ended up getting a little less in our regular program. We're back to what is a more normal allocation. So if you compare the 23, which is 13.91, to this year, which is 13.96, you can see that that's fairly consistent. And if we look back over time, you're going to see those numbers more in the 13.7, 13.8, 13.9 range. Relative to admin, yes, we have tried to expend more internally. We're not spending more federal dollars except for the carryover admin dollars. As Senator Austin pointed out, we have a very robust and effective program. It does take staff time, effort, energy to administer that program.
Okay, so I'm looking at it over here, basically.
You got to
Yeah, I'm
reference
looking
which
at,
sheet you're
yeah, B.
talking, because I want the rest of the audience to understand what you're talking.
Yeah, so if I'm looking at Appendix B, if I look at that total, the 877, it looks like there's no anticipated transfer to general funds. Is that just, that'll take place in the year, so it will bring it down by that about $300,000?
That's correct, Representative.
Okay, so right now, we're just not showing that transfer over to your area.
That is correct.
And that's why it's higher. See, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Representative Nolan for the second time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right,
Thank
just
you.
wanted to make sure.
I'm old. I keep telling you that.
I see, I would have never said that.
I would though.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just rewinding a little bit. Representative Walker talked on the consulting. Is that part of the administration fee? And if it is, what is the total fees for administration? And does it come directly out of this 13 million?
So consultant fees would come out of the grant award that would go to that municipality. It would not come out of the very limited administrative allocation.
And I'm sorry, what would be the cost of the consultant fee?
Right. So I'm going to ask my colleague, Miguel, do we have any information on average consultant cost these days relative to CDBG prep?
Through the chair to the representative, we actually put caps with regards to the application preparation and soft costs related to like environmental testing.
You've got to give your name, sir. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
my apologies. My name is Miguel Rivera. I work with Michael at the Department of Housing, and we do put caps with regards to application preparation and preliminary testing for environmental. So we look at the average being about $3,000 for application preparation and about $3,000 for the environmental test preliminary testing. From there, those funds get paid out. The CDBG program has a maximum of soft costs and administrative costs not to exceed 20%. The state receives 3%. So that limits no more than 17% in total per each award. But that includes soft costs such as architectural engineering, testing.
So if you were to put a number, like if we were to use last year's money, what would be the total amount of administration fees and consulting fees? And I only ask that because I'm trying to find out how much money goes towards that we're missing out of for projects.
Thank you, Representative. So as my partner Miguel pointed out, that would be a maximum of 20% across the board. So on a $13 million allocation, not more than 200 and, if my math is right, $2.6 million would go to those administrative soft costs. The rest is going directly into hard cost construction.
Okay, that is quite a bit. And another question would be, how do you track the outcomes or impacts of like this year's $13 million investment, especially when it comes to the lack of housing and affordability? How do you track that?
Thank you, Representative. Annually, in accordance with the federal regulations, we publish what is called a performance evaluation report, or our PER. Those are published on our website. They're submitted to HUD at the end of September of every year. They provide detailed information on expenditures, awards, beneficiary data, et cetera, not just for CDBG, but for all of our formula grants.
Yeah.
Those reports are available on our website, and if you'd like, we can make sure we get access to those.
If you could send that to the administrator, that would be
Certainly.
great. And if I can ask, when it comes to affordable housing projects, and I don't know, and I'm sure Madam Chair will correct me, there's a big difference between affordable housing and low income housing. And we don't seem to define that yet as much as we should, so that we can see the difference in the need for those families that can't afford the affordable housing that we keep building. So how do we make sure that the folk that are in that lower income bracket are being taken care of, versus all this affordable housing that is going up? And I'll say affordable housing, I think, is needed for those that can afford it. But at the same time, we have those that can't afford that affordable housing that many of our communities are putting up. So we're leaving out that group of folk that just can't afford it. How are we trying to deal with that?
Again, thank you for the question, Representative Nolan. CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant Program, is targeted at households at or below 50% of the area median income, which is defined as low-income households. So CDBG specifically goes to serve our low-income households. And the units that we are preserving with those dollars are specifically serving 50% of AMI households or below. Okay. You're right. Affordable housing has a great many different definitions depending on the programmatic reference. And when we talk about affordable housing, we are most often talking about households at or below 80% of the area median income. But affordable housing comes, I believe, as you know, in a lot of different shapes, sizes, and targets. The department's emphasis, in accordance with our consolidated plan and with public statements by both the governor and my commissioner, our focus is on households at 30% of AMI below and 50% of AMI and below. That doesn't mean we aren't going to provide assistance for units that serve 60, 80, and in some cases even 100% of area median income, particularly when we start to talk about affordable home ownership opportunities. But our focus, the emphasis for the department, at least for the coming period, is on those lower income households in the 30 and 50% of AMI range.
Great to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are there any other comments or questions?
Yes, Senator?
Representative Walker?
Sorry, just, I want to follow up where Representative Nolan was going. Sir, could you explain that in dollars? I don't want 80% of AMI. I don't want, I want to know, what is affordable housing dollar-wise in the state of Connecticut?
So the affordable housing dollars, Tony, Representative Walker, are determined by each area community. They're not determined by that's why I've always asked for a definition of affordable housing. We have never done a definition and we don't have a statewide definition. So Greenwich has one standard, Marlborough has another standard, Norwich has another standard. So if you're talking about what Representative Nolan was talking about, the low income,
Yep.
that's an actual standard. So if you could give us the low income, not the affordable housing, but the low income, I think that's what Representative Walker would like to have the dollar amount on.
That's because when we get into that same bind when we talk about federal poverty level.
Correct.
I want to know, so the people all are on the same vein, and I won't ask any more questions if I just get this one done. I promise.
Thank you, Senator.
No,
It's a representative, excuse me. It's a hard question to answer in terms of one number. I can tell you what the statewide area median income for an average household of 4. That's $124,600. Okay, so that number can then be extrapolated down again on a statewide level. If you take 80% of that number, 124,600.
That's about
times 0.8, and we're looking at an average household earning $99,680. Okay, that's for someone in the 80% of area median income range. If we go down farther, we go to the 50%, that means an average household earning $62,300 for an average family of 4. That gets adjusted down depending on, or up, depending on household size. So the more people in a household, the higher that number goes. The fewer people in a household, the lower that number goes. And the adjustment is generally down 10% per person under 4 and up 8% for every household member over the number of 4. Okay. So again, if we're talking about low income housing, serving households at 50% of the area median income, an average family of 4 would earn no more than $62,300.
okay. So $60,000 is basically your number, and that would be a low income family of 4.
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Could you send that formula and everything to the Madam Administrator so she can get it out to all of us?
Absolutely. We have published charts that
Great.
actually then break that number down by region, as Senator Austin was pointing out. The number I just gave you is the statewide number that I simple math just extrapolated down. But each region of the state has its own area median income, and those numbers get adjusted depending on the specifics. So area median income in Fairfield County is significantly higher than the state average, just as area median income in the Willimantic area is much lower than the state median income. But we'll be happy to send that chart along.
And just to also follow up with how many families does that actually accommodate with those numbers? You don't have to tell me now. It can be
Understood.
Because I'm going to get yelled at. Thank you, Matt.
You all are going to get yelled at because none of you are talking about the CDBG allocation plan that we have in front of us that we are voting on, but Representative Nolan for the third time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So you also talked about the carryover funding. Could you just repeat how much that was, and then I'll ask the question.
Certainly. Okay. So on the OFA report, I believe it's found on page 3. Okay. We're carried over about $455,000 worth of administrative funds from the prior year. And we carried over program dollars. It's not on that chart. Hold on. We carried over about $8 million from prior year authorizations or program income and reallocations.
Okay.
Of that, however, I want to be clear, we got about $3 million, which was originally awarded to the state under what was the Neighborhood Stabilization Program, NSP. So that $3 million got either respent or repaid through the national, to the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. HUD is allowing us, since the Neighborhood Stabilization Program has ended, to reprogram those dollars and put them into our CDBG program. So of that $8 million rollover, about $3 million of it is actually new money to the CDBG program, but it's rollover or reallocation dollars because it came from NSP.
So is there any way, like that's a considerable amount of money to be, even the 400,000 from just that 1 year is a considerable amount of money. Is there not any way that you can reach out to communities to see if there's a need to further that funding in a project that might be going on or that can help a project go on? Because having that money carry over means less housing or less opportunity for us to fill that void that is needed. So I'm just hoping that there could be a push to take that extra effort to really reach out and contact people that might have projects that could need even that goes past that deadline.
Thank you, Representative. I'm going to let my partner Miguel talk a little bit about prevailing wage and BABA. Miguel.
Through the chair to the representative, my apologies. I'm fiscally conservative, but I too grew up in public housing and I would love to do more projects. Unfortunately, being conservative and trying to be a good financial steward, over the last 5 years, we've had to take into consideration material cost increases due to COVID delays. Subsequently, in the last 2 years, we've seen dramatic increases in various trades going 200 to 300% on the state prevailing wage. Many of the projects that you see, if not all, are being leveraged with state bond dollars. So these projects of 2 to 3 million are actually projects of $8 to $10 million in the whole scheme. And those projects are being impacted now with the latest prevailing wage, anywhere from $750,000 to $1 million in additional cost that we're utilizing federal funds to leverage. Being conservative, I'm building in that nest egg. BABA, the Build America, Buy America, under the Biden administration has now taken effect in 2024 that requires any assistance of over $250,000 to have a preference with regards to American-made steel and other manufactured goods. I'm working closely with the entitlement community, such as the city of New Haven, with regards to training and guidance, also from HUD. But unfortunately, although there is a waiver mechanism with the Made in America office in the White House, that process is very strenuous, and we have seen organizations actually decide to walk away from federal funding or pursue state dollars in lieu of that. So being conservative, trying to assure that we have successful projects that don't get stalled or fail, as someone had mentioned, we're building a nest egg.
That nest egg just seems like it can be utilized if there's a leftover, and it just having that, let's say the 400,000. I mean, you could still have a nest egg with 100,000. It just seems like some project could need that extra money to do something, and we're just. I understand that, being conservative, but it just seems like we should try and push to get the money out so we don't have the over.
I understand, sir. Again, I'm going to just utilize the most recent state prevailing wage. We are getting projects that have just started earlier this spring on construction. The state prevailing wage increase is reflecting close to 750 to 900,000 just on one project.
Okay.
So that is a lot more than we were anticipating. Solutions are in your hands as legislators with regards to moving forward.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So to be very clear, and Representative Gonzalez is next, the entitlement communities would not get any of this money. They're not allowed to get any of this money. Those entitlement communities are Bridgeport, Bristol, Danbury, East Hartford, Fairfield, Greenwich, Hamden, Hartford, Manchester, Meriden, Middletown, Milford, New Britain, New Haven, New London, Norwalk, Norwich, Stamford, Stratford, Waterbury, West Hartford, and West Haven. All of them get direct dollars to them that they choose how they're going to spend that. More often than not, they're supporting an office. They're not supporting any projects with the CDBG money that they get. They are supporting an office that they set up with staffing that handles things. So they're not supporting projects. These dollars are in the 120 or 30 other communities. They're not anything to do with those cities that I just mentioned. They cannot get this money. They cannot go to those other communities. They can only go to the 130 or 140 other communities that want to do this. These projects are for smaller communities primarily, although I pointed out that not all of those communities that I mentioned are at 50,000 or above. Representative Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and you kind of answered my question, but still, I want to ask if let's say that one of those cities that they qualify for this kind of money, if they have any family that they are 4 members, let's say there's 4 members in a family, and you said affordable housing, the salary, the income got to be like 62,300. What happened then with those families? They are struggling right now, and let's say a family of 4, they really need of affordable housing, but the salary is $50,000. Then those are the people that we really want to help, and that's a huge problem that we have, all over the state. People that the salaries is very low. It's like some families, they are $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and they don't qualify for affordable housing. Then what?
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you, Representative Gonzalez. Again, that's why our department is focusing a lot of our efforts in the coming period on creating housing opportunities in the 30 and 50% of area median income range. You're right. Some of the affordable housing that's being built, that's serving people at 80% of AMI, is not within the financial reach of people earning $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. So we are creating opportunities for those households on a regular basis. We have projects under construction in your community today that will serve a lot of those households. But I think it's fair to say we don't have enough, and we have to continue the effort to create more opportunities like that.
Yeah, because when developers, they come to our community and they talk about affordable housing, but they never explain exactly, what kind of family they're going to qualify. They don't explain the salary, and people get all excited. And then when they go and apply, they don't qualify because the salary is lower than 50,000 or 62,000, like you said before. So that's a huge problem, and that's the problem that we have all over Connecticut. And that's why I think that we have to focus on helping those people, because right now it's a need. And I don't think that we're doing enough for to help this kind of family. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Someday we'll come up with a definition for what affordable really means.
Yes.
Probably not,
need that.
though. Only been asking for I don't know how long. So, so are there any other comments or questions for Mr. Santoro? We missed the commissioner, but you've been an more than adequate replacement for her, sir. Thank you very much. We are going to close the public hearing now. You may want to stay around for entirely up to you. Madam Administrator, please let me know when you are ready to move forward with the meetings. Okay, I want all of you to call or text your colleagues that are in the respective committees. We're going to start with commerce, but then we're going to go on to housing. So if you have colleagues and you're giving a couple minutes here to text everybody to let them all know that we are going to be voting. Votes are not left open. They are not left open. So once we move on to the next committee, those who are in that other committee, you cannot vote. So please text your colleagues now to come on now so that we can get this completed. Thank you very much. Madam Administrator, before we go into the meeting, I hear that you are going to be joining me in jumping out of a plane. Is that true, Madam Administrator? You and our LCO and Appropriations, Heather Bannister, is going to be jumping out of a plane in Ellington
And Heather Reeves.
and Heather Reeves. And so if any of you want to join the four of us, there's 9 of us going actually. We're jumping out of a plane. We're raising money for veterans programs this way. So just get in touch with us if you're interested in either donating, coming and watching, or cheering us on, or actually joining us in jumping out of the plane. It's a lot of fun. So,
Madam Chair,
yes, Senator Lesser.
just a question about that. My understanding is that in the State of the Union address, the president picks a designated survivor who has to stay behind. Is there a state senator who can be that designated survivor, and can I volunteer for that job?
But that's not what we're going to do, Senator Lesser. We're all
Okay.
doing this. We're all having a lot of fun. I'm actually going to climb down a hotel front too of 36 stories this year. I don't know. No, my grandson says I'm turning into a lunatic. I don't know. Yeah. Are you ready, Madam Administrator? Are we going to? Senator Anwar.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to mention that that's my district, so I would love to be able to receive you on the ground.
Okay, come on. Come on. Are you coming? You're not volunteering to jump with me?
I'm not chaired Appropriations Committee, so I don't have that risk-taking capacity.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that my state senator will catch me when I fall. So thank you, Senator.
Thank you. So I'm going to turn this over to Commerce. Senator Hartley, do you know who's doing this?
Yeah, I guess I am. Thank you, Madam. And the Commerce Committee will convene for the consideration of the FY25 Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Allocation Plan. And at this time, I will entertain a motion for approval of such plan based upon the presentation earlier and the discussion that followed. Is there
So-
a
So moved.
Second.
moved by, did we get that? Yeah, you must be a member of the Commerce Committee. Right now, this is a committee meeting of the Commerce. Okay, thank you. Representative Heffernan has moved, and a second was, yes, Representative Santinella. Okay, moved and seconded. Is there discussion by members of the Commerce Committee? Seeing none, I would ask the clerk, and thank you very much, Kathy Lupton, who is standing in today for our clerk, to kindly call the roll.
This is a roll call vote to approve the fiscal year 25 Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Association Plan. Senator Hartley,
In the affirmative.
Representative Meskers,
In the affirmative.
Senator Rahman, Senator Rahman, Representative Kit,
In the affirmative.
thank you. Senator Martin, Senator Martin, circle back, Representative Anaskevich,
Yes.
Representative Buckby,
Representative Buckby's a yes.
Representative Bucksbaum,
Representative Bucksbaum, yes.
Representative Collins Maine, Representative Gajewski,
Representative Gajewski in the affirmative.
Representative Garibay, Representative Heffernan,
Heffernan votes yes.
Representative McGorty,
Representative McGorty is a yes.
Senator Miller,
Senator Miller votes yes.
Senator Needleman,
Senator Needleman votes yes.
Representative Rochelle,
Rochelle votes yes.
Representative Romano, Representative Santinella,
Yes.
Senator Summers, Senator Summers, are you with us? Representative Wood,
Rep Wood votes yes.
and circling back, Senator Martin, are you with us? And one more time, Senator Summers. Oh, sorry, Senator Rahman.
Senator Rahman, yes.
Rep Maine votes yes. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I am
thank
having
you.
terrible internet difficulties, and thanks guys for your texts.
Too many speakers on here. And Rep Garibay, are you with us? Okay. Senator Martin, one more time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
Yeah, Senator Martin votes yes.
thank you. And yeah. And Senator Summers, are you with us? All right, Madam Chair, that completes the roll.
Senator Summers is still trying to get on, so we'll give her 1 second if we can.
Sure.
No, I'm remote.
Senator Summers.
Summers votes yes.
Thank you. I can see you're on. Yes, yes. And Madam Chair, that completes the roll.
Yes. Come. Some
Madam
boxes.
Chair, there are 18 votes in the affirmative and none in the negative, and 2 members absent and not voting.
Okay, I'm going to convene the Housing Committee meeting on this 30th of July to consider the fiscal year 25 Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Allocation Plan. May I please have a motion and a second from members of the Housing Committee? I don't know if there was a motion, if there was a first. Rep. Gonzalez, would you like to make a motion? Was that a yes? Okay, is there a second? Yeah, she said yes.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second, Senator Anwar.
Thank you, Senator Anwar. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk is covering for our clerk. Thank you, Taylor Aitken. If you could please call the roll.
Representative Felipe,
Representative Felipe votes yes.
Senator Marks,
Senator Marks votes yes.
Representative Scott, Senator Sampson, Representative Roberts.
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Gaston.
Senator Gaston votes yes.
One more time. Oh, almost there. One more time, please.
Yep. Gaston votes yes.
I need your, there you are. Thank you. Senator Anwar.
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Brown. Representative Butler.
Was that Marcus Brown or Kevin?
It was Kevin Brown.
Thank you.
Sit tight for approps. Representative Butler. Representative Corpus.
Rep. Corpus votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Gonzalez. Yes. Representative Hall. Senator Hockadell, excuse me. Representative Jensen. Senator McCrory. Representative Sanchez. Robert. Representative Sweet. Representative Turco.
Representative Turco votes yes.
Representative Weir.
Weir is yes.
Representative Zulo.
Rep. Zulo votes yes.
Thank you. I'll go through who I'm missing right now. Representative Scott. Senator Sampson. Representative Kevin Brown. Representative Butler. Representative Hall. Senator Hockadell. Representative Jensen. Senator McCrory. Representative Robert Sanchez. And Representative Sweet.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. If you could please call the roll, call the tally.
You got Baker right there. He's not on this, maybe, right?
I don't know.
Total voting 10, total yay 10, 0 nay, 0 abstaining, 10 absent or not voting.
Thank you. I will recess the Housing Committee.
Rep Baker has his hand up.
Yeah, but he's not on that committee, so he's going to be on the next committee. We're going to call the appropriations committee meeting for the FY 25 Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Allocation Plan to order. Is there a motion?
So moved. Belinsky.
Representative Belinsky, is there a second?
Second, Kushner.
Seconded by Senator Kushner. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion. Madam Administrator, could you call the roll, please?
Senator Austin,
Senator Austin votes in the affirmative.
Representative Walker,
Representative Walker votes in the affirmative.
Senator Hartley, Senator Kushner,
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Representative Exum, Representative Paris, Senator Summers,
Senator Summers votes yes.
Representative Nuccio,
Yes.
Representative Ackert,
Representative Ackert votes yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes. Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Baker,
Representative Baker votes yes.
Representative Belton,
Rep. Belton votes yes.
Senator Berthel,
Good afternoon, Madam Administrator. Senator Berthel votes in the affirmative, but I vote in the negative regarding the jumping out of the plane.
you can join Senator Anwar in catching me when I fall.
That would be a much preferred space. We can show a little bipartisan catching effort there. That would be really nice. So
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you, ma'am.
Representative Belinsky,
Representative Belinsky votes yes.
you're invited too, Mitch. Representative Marcus Brown, you've been waiting so long, sir.
And so patiently, Representative Brown votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. Representative Candelaria, Representative Corpus,
Rep. Corpus votes yes.
Representative Dathan. Yes. Representative DiCaprio,
Caprio, yes.
Representative DeFranco,
DeFranco, yes.
Representative Delaney,
Representative Delaney in the affirmative.
Representative Dillon.
Dillon votes yes.
One more time, ma'am.
Dillon votes yes.
There you are. Hi. Thank you. Representative Felipe.
Representative Felipe votes yes. Again.
Senator Flexer.
Senator Flexer votes yes.
There you are. Thank you. Representative Boncello.
Moncello votes yes.
Representative Garibay. Representative Gibson.
Good afternoon. Representative Gibson votes yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
Representative Gilchrist. Representative Gonzalez. Senator Gordon.
Senator Gordon votes yes.
Representative Haddad. Senator Harding. Thank you, sir. Representative Hoxa.
Rep Hoxa votes yes.
Representative Johnson.
Hey, Representative Johnson votes yes, and I would like to jump out of the plane, but I think I'm a little too old now.
Representative Cavros DeGraw.
Cavros DeGraw votes yes and votes for catching, not releasing.
Representative Kennedy.
Kennedy votes yes.
Representative Khan.
Representative Khan votes yes.
One more time. Oh, she's here. Yes. Go. Representative Leeper. Senator Lesser.
Senator Lesser votes yes and looks forward to be the lone survivor.
Representative Martinez.
Representative Martinez votes yes.
Senator Marks. Representative McCarthy Vahey.
Votes yes.
Senator McCrory, Representative Nolan.
Representative Nolan in the affirmative.
See? Ah, Senator McCrory, I'm going to go back to you, sir.
Senator McCory votes yes. Susan, Senator McCory votes yes.
Thank you, sir.
Gotcha.
I don't know if I can continue. Representative Pavlak D'Amato. Representative Reyes.
Good afternoon, Representative Reyes in the affirmative.
Thank you, sir. Representative Rosario. Representative Ryan.
Votes yes.
Thank you, sir. Representative Manny Sanchez. Representative James Sanchez.
Representative James Sanchez votes yes.
Representative Sims. No. Senator Slack.
Senator Slack votes yes.
Senator Winfield.
Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Thank you, sir. Is there any member of the Appropriations Committee who has not yet voted who would like to do so at this time?
I have not voted, Madam Administrator.
Hi, Representative Leeper. How would you like to vote, madam?
I'd like to vote in the affirmative, please.
Gotcha. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Madam Administrator, would you please announce the tally?
Total number voting 45, those voting yea 45, those voting nay 0, those abstaining 0, those absent outvoting 9.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the Appropriations Committee from an Appropriations member, moved by Representative DiCaprio and Representative Fonchella seconded it, or the other way around. And all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. We are now adjourned in Appropriations Committee, and I turn this over to Commerce.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and the Commerce Committee will reconvene for the purpose of entertaining motion to adjourn. Is
moved.
And moved by Chairman Meskers, and a second for.
Second.
Thank you, Representative Maine, Leach. And so we now stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I will reconvene the Housing Committee meeting, and could I please have a motion to adjourn? Rep. Gonzalez, may I have a second? Who seconded? Anybody still there?
Gonzalez.
You did the first, Minnie.
Second.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Rep. Turco. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, the housing is adjourned.
Okay, thank you. Madam Administrator, can you tell me if we have anything else coming up?
Oh, boy, do we ever in all the probes. So we dispensed with one block grant allocation plan today. We have 7 more. So August 7th is going to be block grant day and appropriations. At 10 o'clock, we are going to hear and take action on the Health and Human Services block grant allocation plans with the Public Health and Human Services committees. And at 1 o'clock that afternoon, we are going to consider the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program plan with the Energy and Technology Committee and the Human Services Committee. Big day.
Thank you very much, Madam Administrator. Appreciate it. Again, I remind everybody that we are going to be I'm going to be doing a couple of things. I'm going to rappel off the Mohegan Sun with some colleagues, Hotel for Special Olympics. I'm going to be jumping out of an airplane in a tandem way, not in a way all by myself, along with a number of other colleagues from here in the legislature, from all different fields, from nonpartisan staff. And a few, I think I might be the only legislator so far. So, but I am inviting others to come, and I had 2 that said they want to, so I'm going to send their names along to LCO Bannister. And then I will be climbing the Bark Eagle to go up and over, and then I am going to do the zip line at Mashantucket. So those are my fun events for the summer. I look forward to any and all of you joining us. Thank you.
She's letting
Madam
you
Chair, what's the
think
date
you
of
don't
your
see
jump?
her.
Like that for request?